The exploration of the world beneath the sea and deep within the earth has revealed a series of mysteries about lost civilizations, ancient relics, and stories that have never been told. This is a journey that connects memories, challenges everything we know about human history, and urges people to keep searching for answers to the mysteries that still lie dormant beneath the ocean and in the heart of the earth. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The wreck of the Swedish warship Mars. Beneath the icy waters of the Baltic Sea, where the echoes of cannon fire and the clash of steel once reverberated during the fiercest days of war, the wreck of the warship Mars was found after more than 4 centuries lying hidden below the surface. Mars was once the pride of the Swedish fleet in the mid-16th century, standing out for its enormous size and unmatched power compared to any other warship of its era. But in 1564, the fate of this vessel changed forever when it sank to the sea floor, along with its entire crew, in a brutal naval battle between Sweden and the joint forces of Denmark and Poland. When the modern expedition team first approached the wreck, it felt as if they were stepping into a time machine, transported back to one of the most tragic moments in northern European history. Under the freezing water, the decayed wooden planks of Mars still lay in place, as if silently recounting the story of an unforgiving battle. Inside the hull, the silver coins that once formed part of the Swedish crown's treasury still glimmered under the divers' flashlights, scattered among countless human remains. These were unmistakable traces of the tragedy that unfolded on the day the ship went down. Diving deep into the wreck, archaeologists discovered a trove of valuable artifacts, from ancient weapons and coins to the daily belongings of the soldiers. But what left the deepest impression was the sight of human skeletons still lying intertwined on the wooden deck, silent in the cold, heavy air. It is estimated that up to 800 souls remain here forever, making Mars one of the largest mass graves ever discovered on the seafloor. What has been recovered from the ship not only brings back the violent image of that long-ago naval battle, but also stands as a reminder of the fragility of human destiny in the face of history's great storms. Mars is no longer just a sunken relic. It has become a symbol of a bygone era, a time of grand dreams to conquer the seas, of ambition for power, and also a silent witness to so much loss and suffering. Each dive down to the wreck of Mars feels to the explorers like reliving the fateful hours of Northern Europe's history. In the silent darkness of the deep, among moss-covered coins and quiet human bones, the story of Mars continues to be told, reminding us of the cost of war and the eternal desire to reach the mysteries still sleeping beneath the waves. The Canaanites and the first alphabet. Deep beneath the soil of Israel, archaeologists discovered a small piece of pottery that carries an extraordinary meaning for the history of humanity. On the surface of that fragment are the oldest known alphabetic characters ever found. This is undeniable evidence of a turning point in the journey of Canaanite civilization, as they created the first writing system based on an alphabet. This discovery not only stirred a wave of curiosity among archaeologists, but also made the world reconsider the origins of the letters we use every day. In the past, many great civilizations like Egypt and Mesopotamia used complex hieroglyphic systems with hundreds of symbols, demanding exceptional memory and learning abilities. However, in the land of Canaan, a groundbreaking step took place when the ancients figured out how to simplify these symbols into individual characters, each representing a specific sound. This innovation laid the foundation for the world's very first alphabet, the forerunner of the alphabets used by many modern languages today, including English. Beyond its immense historical value, that shard of pottery also opens up a host of unanswered mysteries. What drove the Canaanites to transition from pictographic writing to an alphabetic system? How were they able to develop a simplified set of characters that could still fully convey human words, emotions, and thoughts? Although scholars are still working to unravel these questions, much about this process remains beyond our reach. But one thing is clear: the emergence of the alphabet completely transformed the course of human history. From a society where only a select few could access knowledge through reading and writing, the alphabet allowed information to spread further than ever before. The legacy of the Canaanites is not just a collection of ancient pottery shards, but a revolution in human thinking, a pivotal moment that marked the beginning of language and culture as we know it. And today, through every page, every letter, we continue to write the story that began with that humble fragment of pottery, where an ancient civilization left an indelible mark on the history of humankind. The American submarine, frozen in time, off the coast of New Jersey. Off the coast of New Jersey, beneath the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean, explorers have discovered what can only be described as a genuine time machine. This is the wreck of the R-8 submarine, once belonging to the United States Navy during World War I. After nearly a century resting quietly on the ocean floor, the hull of the vessel still lies there, silently marking a little-known chapter in American military history. The story of R-8 begins at a time when the war had faded far into the past, when the submarine no longer had any combat duties and was chosen as a target for bombing tests in 1936. There was no longer a single sailor on deck, and all important equipment had been removed, turning R-8 into a true iron shell. When the bombs exploded above, the submarine was sunk, falling into a long sleep on the seabed, carrying no sacrifice with her. Decades later, thanks to modern sonar technology, a survey team from a salvage company found images of the submarine lying upright, almost perfectly intact. Approaching the wreck of R-8 was like opening a door to the past, a place where technology and the ambition to conquer the sea converged in a streamlined steel body. Unlike other war wrecks that often come with pain and loss, R-8 brings a feeling of peace, like a monument frozen in time, evoking memories of a bygone era that is not stained with tragedy. This discovery has not only helped historians reconstruct the earliest periods of the development of the U.S. Navy, but it also reminds today's generation of humanity's journey to conquer the ocean. Beneath the sea off New Jersey, R-8 still lies there, silent among the sand and seaweed, becoming part of the endless story of mysteries, historical lessons, and the relentless human desire to reach further and further. A forgotten culture beneath Lake Michigan. Beneath the deep and icy waters of Lake Michigan, researchers and native people have uncovered one of the greatest remaining mysteries of North America: strange arrangements of stones lying quietly on the lake bed, evoking the traces of an ancient culture that once flourished here during the Ice Age, more than 10,000 years ago. Beneath layers of silt and still water, large and small stones have been purposefully arranged into mysterious shapes and motifs, like messages left behind from a distant past. This discovery has not only astonished the scientific community, but has also stirred both pride and curiosity among the native communities around the Great Lakes region. These stones may be relics of ceremonial sites, gathering places, or markers set on what was once a dry, grassy plain before the waters of the lake rose and submerged everything. The image of these stone formations lying beneath the water brings viewers back to a time when the first tribes of the Americas still hunted and migrated, when Lake Michigan did not yet exist and every trace of culture was still imprinted on open land. However, the excitement of discovery was soon replaced by concern and controversy when a pipeline construction project for oil and gas passed through the area where these relics were found. Many stones were displaced, and part of the structure was permanently destroyed before archaeologists could study it thoroughly. This not only resulted in the loss of precious evidence about the lives of prehistoric inhabitants, but also ignited a wave of public outcry over the responsibility to preserve heritage. The story of the stone alignments beneath Lake Michigan stands as a profound warning about the fragile line between modern development and the protection of what belongs to history. There, each stone and every mark carries the spirit of the past, a legacy not only for a single people, but a testament to all of humanity. And it is these debates and regrets that urge today's generation to cherish, protect, and continue exploring the mysteries that remain silent beneath the surface, where time itself seems to pause to keep the memory safe for future generations. The Gunung Padang Pyramid. Amid the deep green mountains of Java, hidden beneath layers of earth, stone, and wild grass, lies a mysterious site that is shaking the foundations of the archaeological world, Gunung Padang. For generations, this place has been regarded by the local people as sacred ground, a land woven with ancient legends of a lost civilization that once reigned here. Yet, it was only when a team of Indonesian researchers announced a startling discovery about the true structure beneath the surface that Gunung Padang truly became the center of a global debate. According to the team, led by Dr. Danny Hillman Natawijaja, Gunung Padang is not merely a natural mound or a pile of rocks. It is, in fact, an ancient pyramid built at least 25,000 years ago. If this number is ever verified, it would push the age of this massive structure tens of thousands of years earlier than even the most famous pyramids of Egypt. Analysis of soil and stone layers, along with radiometric dating, revealed that beneath the current surface of loose stones lie multiple tiers of architectural construction, proving intentional human intervention over many eras. This discovery not only raises major questions about the capabilities of prehistoric humans, but directly challenges every conventional idea about the development of human civilization. Did there once exist an advanced society with building techniques far beyond what we ever imagined? One that thrived and then vanished, leaving behind traces now buried beneath the dust of time? Or is this conclusion a misstep, with natural layers of earth and stone by sheer coincidence creating what appear to be intentional designs? Even so, Gunung Padang immediately encountered fierce opposition from many archaeologists worldwide. Most specialists believe the evidence is not convincing enough, arguing that the structure may simply be a product of nature or a site repeatedly modified over thousands of years. Even leading scientific journals have questioned the reliability of the dating methods and the research process itself. Yet, despite the never-ending controversy, Gunung Padang quietly continues to attract scientists, independent researchers, and thousands of curious visitors every year. The many layers of columnar basalt, the hidden stone steps, and the fragments of ancient ruins still hold mysteries no one has solved. Until the day when the truth about the age and purpose of Gunung Padang is finally revealed, this place will remain a question mark, forcing humanity to reconsider its own journey and continue to inspire the dream of discovering a distant past far beyond the boundaries of traditional history. The discovery of explosives, ancient weapons, and shipwreck debris in England's flooded quarries. Beneath the cold waters of England's flooded quarries, divers and archaeologists have uncovered a trove of mysteries that shed light on military history, commerce, and everyday life spanning centuries. Hidden beneath layers of muddy stone, these discoveries are far more than lifeless fragments. They reveal a vivid past, a time when merchant ships, fierce battles, and ordinary moments once animated these waters. At a quarry in Cornwall, two divers who originally set out to search for lost items unexpectedly discovered a cache of explosives and ancient weapons. Among their finds were air hoses and water pipes from the previous century, as well as thousands of intact detonators packed away in discreet burlap sacks. Even more, they found the remnants of a granite structure, the vestige of a factory or workshop that once served the local mining community. This discovery forced the dive team to immediately contact the police and bomb disposal experts, since these explosives still posed a real danger, retaining their destructive power even after decades underwater. The discoveries did not end there. Marine archaeology teams also unearthed several shipwrecks, including a Dutch merchant ship named Schiedam, which was once captured by pirates and converted into a weapons transport before sinking off the English coast in 1684. Amid the rotting timbers and rusted cannons, divers uncovered two iron hand grenades, still packed with gunpowder inside. These finds are direct evidence of the intense skirmishes and the ever-present shadow of war in the lives of people from that era. These grenades are considered some of the earliest explosive weapons ever used by English soldiers, and they stand as powerful proof of the advancement of ancient military technology. In addition, the recovery of everyday items, ceramics, tools, and forgotten building materials from beneath the water all help paint a vivid picture of commerce and daily life around the old harbour towns. Sometimes, with nothing more than a decayed log or a rusty axe, archaeologists can reconstruct the entire development of local crafts, the movement of goods, and the trading connections stretching from Europe to North Africa. All of these discoveries have sparked the public's imagination about a past marked by turbulence and the constant interweaving of war, trade, and ordinary life. At the same time, They remind us of the hidden dangers that still lurk beneath the water, unexploded materials waiting to be found, so that every expedition becomes not only an archaeological adventure, but a confrontation between the present and the unexplored past. The city of Heracleion. Deep beneath the waters of Abukir Bay off the coast of Egypt, the city of Heracleion was once a legend, mentioned only in ancient Greek texts. This place was not just one of the most bustling trade centers in the Mediterranean, but also a crossroads for cultures, religions, and mythological tales. For centuries, the existence of Heracleion remained only a story passed down through generations, until a large-scale archaeological expedition in 2000 unexpectedly uncovered the city's ruins beneath the sea. Scientists have discovered a wealth of priceless relics preserved under layers of mud and sea sand. Most striking are the ancient ships buried alongside gigantic statues depicting gods and pharaohs, glittering gold coins, and the remains of the Temple of Ammon, the supreme sun god in ancient Egyptian belief. The entire city has become a vast underwater museum, preserving intact the atmosphere of prosperity and grandeur from a bygone era. Yet one great question remains. What caused Heracleion, a city once seen as the symbol of abundance, to disappear beneath the sea? Numerous archaeological and geological studies suggest that the city may have suffered a series of relentless natural disasters. Powerful earthquakes, massive tsunamis, and subsidence gradually weakened its foundations, making it vulnerable to the rising sea. In addition, historical climate change contributed to the shift in sea level, causing the land to be slowly engulfed by water. Today, Heracleion stands not only as vivid evidence of the ingenuity of ancient civilizations, but also as a warning to modern cities about the power of nature and the passage of time. Every new discovery here offers another perspective on the past and enriches the mysterious history of humanity. The 3,200-year-old Bronze Age shipwreck in Croatia. Lying quietly in a small bay off the coast of Croatia, the wreck of an ancient ship has astonished the archaeological community with its endurance over more than 3 millennia. More than just a vivid testament to the Bronze Age, this vessel tells a story of human creativity and remarkable craftsmanship from a time when metal nails were unknown, yet people were still able to build seaworthy vessels to conquer the open waters. What makes this ship so unique is its special construction technique. Instead of nails, each wooden plank was carefully sewn together using cords made from flexible roots or willow branches. This method of assembly created a hull that was not only flexible, but also resilient, able to withstand the pressures of wind, waves, and the passage of centuries. It is because of this that, after more than 3,200 years, much of the hull remains intact, with its joints and wooden framework still clearly defined, not erased by time or the sea. Upon careful examination, experts found that the ship was built from a diverse array of local woods, reflecting a sophisticated balance between natural materials and skills passed down through generations. Even the tiniest details, such as the stitching marks left on the wood, reveal not only the artistry of ancient hands, but also shed light on the secrets of Bronze Age shipbuilding in the Mediterranean. It is evidence that people of that era were already maximizing resources, continuously innovating to adapt and venture out across the sea. Today, the wreck is being carefully preserved, with plans to display it in a museum so the public can witness and better understand the techniques and creative thinking of their ancestors. When visitors step into the exhibition space, they will see for themselves the surviving details and sense the skillful hands of people who, over 3,000 years ago, created a masterpiece that has endured the passage of time. The Pharaohs of Egypt and the alien hybrid theory. Amid the heart of the Egyptian desert, the mysteries surrounding the pharaohs continue to challenge the imagination of humanity, even after thousands of years have passed. It is not only monumental structures like the Great Pyramid or the Sphinx that leave the world in awe, but the very bloodline of the pharaohs themselves is steeped in strange stories that transcend the boundaries of conventional history. In recent years, certain genetic studies have sparked a controversial hypothesis suggesting that the Egyptian pharaohs, especially Akhenaten, may have carried mixed bloodlines between humans and an extraterrestrial species. Akhenaten was unlike any pharaoh who ever sat upon the throne of ancient Egypt. His appearance differed radically from the standards of his era. An elongated skull, delicate features, wide hips, slender limbs, and highly unusual physical characteristics. Many scholars have argued that Akhenaten suffered from a rare genetic syndrome, while some researchers have drawn connections between him and depictions of aliens found in many ancient cultures. Beyond his appearance, Akhenaten initiated a religious revolution by abolishing Egypt's traditional polytheism and worshipping only the god Aten, a mysterious disk in the sky which many have compared to images of unidentified flying objects. Modern genetic analyses based on samples excavated from the tombs of the pharaohs have revealed mysterious traces that current science cannot fully explain. Some scientists have boldly questioned the true origins of the pharaohs' lineage. Were they the product of a hybridization process between humans and extraterrestrial beings? Or are these simply natural genetic mutations combined with the deified power of an ancient royal dynasty? The story of the pharaohs, especially Akhenaten, extends far beyond their influence on Egyptian history and religion, reaching into cosmological theories and questions about the origins of humanity itself. Some believe that if the alien hybrid theory is true, then the pharaohs may have been a bridge between humanity and a higher cosmic civilization, bearing knowledge, technology, and even religion from the distant stars. The ancient city of Pavlopetri beneath the Greek Sea. Lying hidden beneath the emerald waters off the coast of Greece, Pavlopetri is one of the most famous sunken ancient cities in the world, a heritage site that is nearly 4,000 years old. When archaeologists dove down into the seabed, they truly entered a distant past, a place that was once a bustling trading port during the Bronze Age. Beneath the water, the stone foundations of houses, warehouses, streets, and drainage channels still appear quite distinct, as if this place had only been abandoned not long ago. Pavlopetri was not merely an ordinary residential area. It has left scientists amazed by the level of urban planning and construction achieved by its ancient inhabitants. Two-story houses, large rooms, courtyards, storage buildings, and even stone tombs have all been discovered. What is especially remarkable is that this city possesses a water supply and canal system that is both dense and sophisticated, proving a highly advanced capability for managing both domestic water and wastewater in a city more than 4,000 years ago. Underwater surveys and modern three-dimensional modeling have helped reconstruct every street and winding pathway, providing a clear vision of a once prosperous community on the shores of the Mediterranean. Thousands of years ago, Pavlopetri was not only a destination for merchants and sailors, but also a center for the exchange of goods, a place where valuable products were transported across the Aegean Sea and even further. These discoveries have helped researchers better understand how ancient ports operated, how people of the past managed the economy, transportation, and organized social life. Pavlopetri reveals a part of the secret of civilizations that contributed to the history of Greece and the world. This place preserves not only the traces of a thriving city, but also stands as vivid proof of humanity's enduring desire to reach the open sea, the talent for organizing communities, and the development of ancient cities under the shadow of time. The true face of the alien. If you have ever wondered what the true face of an alien might look like, imagine the mysterious elongated skull that was recently reconstructed from an ancient grave in Switzerland. This woman lived in the 5th century, and the appearance of her unusually long skull left archaeologists bewildered and sparked a series of strange theories within the exploration community. Some have claimed that this is evidence of aliens once visiting Earth, or that it could be the remnant of a mysterious tribe that engaged in time travel. The strange shape of the skull astonishes anyone who sees it for the first time, and many people even associate it with images created in science fiction movies. However, as experts studied the skeleton more closely, an interesting truth gradually emerged. It turned out that the elongated skull was not the result of a genetic mutation or the influence of an extraterrestrial civilization, but rather originated from an ancient custom known as deliberate cranial deformation. In this tradition, from an early age, children's heads would be bound with boards or cloth so that the skull would grow into a special shape, creating an appearance different from normal people. In ancient Europe, Tribes such as the Burgundians or Huns considered elongated skulls a symbol of power, social status, or a mark of noble beauty, and this custom was preserved through generations as a distinctive hallmark of entire communities. Even more astonishing is that evidence of head binding is not only found in Europe, but also appears in ancient cultures thousands of miles away. In Kuwait, archaeologists have unearthed clay figurines depicting lizard-like people with abnormally long heads, dating back as far as 7,000 years. These are products of the Ubaid culture, one of the earliest civilizations of Mesopotamia. The strange repetition of elongated skull imagery in cultures that had no direct contact with each other has raised a profound question. Where did the inspiration for this custom come from? Did our ancestors once encounter mysterious beings with unusual shapes, or is this simply the product of imagination, symbolizing power or divinity? The topic of elongated skulls has set off a dramatic quest, stretching from Europe to the Middle East and even reaching as far as South America. This image continues to haunt modern researchers because it not only represents cultural identity but also reflects humanity's aspiration to transcend limits in defining beauty and power. Whether as a symbol, a custom, or a reminder of a civilization that once existed, the mystery of the elongated skull remains a great question, urging us to continue exploring the strange connections between ancient cultures around the world and to uncover the true origin of this mysterious inspiration. Secrets hidden deep within ancient caves. Beneath the ground, where light can barely reach, some of the greatest secrets of human history are hidden away. Caves were not only shelters for early humans, but they also serve as vivid archives of thousands of years of culture, art, and mysterious beliefs. Every time archaeologists carefully step into a new cave, they do not simply uncover traces of the past. They feel as though they are stepping through a doorway in time, witnessing things that have never been told. In the year 2000, amid the deep blue waves of the Caribbean Sea, a shocking discovery shook the scientific world. Engineers searching for an old Spanish shipwreck accidentally found massive pyramid-shaped structures submerged on the ocean floor. These ruins are located in an area connected to underground caves that stretch all the way to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Many believe that these could be the remains of a mysterious island once described in Maya legend, the site of a civilization believed to have been swallowed by the sea 50,000 years ago. The story of Atlantis seemed to come alive once again, fueling the endless search for answers among those fascinated by exploration. Caves do not only preserve magnificent constructions, but they are also where some of the oldest works of art created by humanity can be found. In Indonesia, archaeologists have discovered a painting of a wild pig on a rock wall, dating back as far as 45,500 years. This artwork shows not only a keen sense of observation, but also demonstrates that ancient people knew how to use color and shape to tell the story of the world around them. Deep underground in Israel, evidence has shown that prehistoric people had learned to control fire, experiment, and adjust temperature to forge tools, opening up a new era of human creativity. In China, the Dunhuang caves still preserve more than 500 temples and thousands of Buddha statues. There, the library cave once held 50,000 precious manuscripts, helping to safeguard the knowledge and art of civilizations that faded long ago. It can be said that every cave on Earth is a living treasure, where time seems to have nearly stopped to retain every trace of the people who once existed. Inside those cold layers of stone are hidden stories of evolution, belief, religion, and humanity's very first creations. No matter how deep we venture, perhaps there will always be mysteries that can never be fully explained. In their own way, caves will always be places where silent secrets are kept, waiting for someone with enough patience and passion to discover and understand them. The pyramid opened for the first time, and the mystery of the tomb robbery. In the heart of the Dashur Desert, archaeologists carried out an excavation that was both suspenseful and full of anticipation when they discovered an ancient pyramid that had been buried for millennia. What made this find truly special was that the burial chamber inside had never been opened since it was sealed, preserving its secrets for 4,000 years beneath layers of time and sand. The hope of discovering treasures or untouched royal relics made the entire excavation team excited because the opportunity to touch a place that had seen no human presence for thousands of years is extremely rare in the field of Egyptian archaeology. However, when the heavy stone lid was finally lifted and the first rays of light entered that dark chamber, a scene of chaos unfolded before the eyes of the scientists. There were no glorious treasures or intact mummies as they had hoped. Instead, all the objects inside had been disturbed, with bones and ritual offerings scattered everywhere, a clear sign that the tomb had once been invaded by robbers. The deeper the team investigated, the more astonished they became upon realizing that this robbery had not taken place after the pyramid was completed, but while it was still under construction. Ancient thieves had broken into the burial chamber when its defenses were not yet finished, rummaged through every corner, taken the valuables, and quickly disappeared. Afterward, it was the builders themselves who sealed the tomb again, blocking all evidence of the theft and creating the illusion that no one had ever set foot there. This discovery has revealed a new chapter in the history of tomb robberies in ancient Egypt, where even the grandest structures could not escape the greed and cunning of humanity. The story of the Dasha pyramid serves as a reminder that, no matter how well protected by stone and desert, the secrets of the pharaohs have always been targets for seekers both past and present, and the mysteries buried beneath the sands do not always lie still, waiting patiently for the day they are brought to light. The Amazon rainforest. When people think of the Amazon, most imagine a vast, primeval forest where wild nature reigns supreme and where human hands have scarcely ever touched. However, archaeological discoveries in recent decades are gradually overturning this familiar notion, opening up an entirely new perspective on the role of ancient humans in shaping this magnificent ecosystem. Scientists have often been amazed to find, beneath the dense roots of the Amazon, the remains of ancient cities, straight roads, complex canal systems, and enormous geometric earthworks. They have discovered earthen pyramids, ancient villages, and traces of millions of people who once lived, thrived, and then suddenly vanished, leaving everything behind for the green forest to reclaim. One of the most controversial pieces of evidence is the layer of fertile black soil called terra preta, which stretches across vast areas of the Amazon. This soil did not form naturally but was created through centuries of soil improvement, as ancient people deliberately mixed charcoal, broken pottery, animal bones, and organic materials to create an ideal foundation for agriculture. Thanks to this, the Amazon's lush vegetation has been able to flourish as it does today, while at the same time covering all traces of the civilizations that once existed there. The theory that the Amazon was once a giant man-made garden, crafted by humans thousands of years ago, is attracting increasing attention from the international scientific community. Buried stone cities, sophisticated roadways and irrigation systems, and hundreds of ancient settlements identified through satellite imagery or field surveys all provide evidence of the powerful influence humans have had on what was once thought to be an untouched wilderness. Although many scientists remain cautious, suggesting these relics reflect the activity of indigenous groups on a moderate scale, not the remnants of an advanced civilization, there is a growing body of evidence showing that the Amazon is the result of the enduring cooperation, creativity, and adaptability of countless generations of ancient people. They transformed a harsh land into a vast food source, built complex communities, and then left everything for the forest to reclaim when their civilization disappeared. Today, each time the Amazon is cleared or destroyed, more new evidence is uncovered of humanity's creative touch. The journey to unlock the mysteries of the largest man-made garden in history is far from over, but it is certain to continue changing humanity's perception of the relationship between people and nature, as well as our understanding of what truly happened in the deep past of our planet. The origins of the agricultural revolution, social cooperation. Recent discoveries about the origins of the agricultural revolution have brought an entirely new perspective to the formation of human civilization. For decades, common theories have suggested that it was climate change or some outside breakthrough in knowledge that prompted humanity to shift from a hunter-gatherer lifestyle to permanent settlement and farming. However, a newly published study points to another, far more important factor: cooperation among humans and the growing pressure of social dynamics. According to researchers, this historic turning point did not arise from a random push by nature, but was the result of people coming together to build communities and create strong social bonds. As small groups gradually developed into villages and then into larger communities, each individual came to realize that cooperation, sharing resources, and working collectively offered far greater benefits than their former nomadic existence. By living close together, people were compelled to follow common rules, resolve conflicts, and support one another in order to survive. Social pressure became a key driving force, encouraging everyone to commit and invest effort in cultivation, because if even one person acted against the interests of the group, the order of the entire community would be disrupted. The benefits of cooperation not only helped create a more stable food supply, but also paved the way for the rise of crafts, trade, and increasingly complex forms of social organization. Social competition and the desire for advancement within the community also motivated people to keep innovating, laying the foundation for enduring achievements in civilization that would last for thousands of years. Looking back on this path of development, it is clear that it was social pressure, rather than just climate or some outside gift of knowledge, that acted as the catalyst for humanity to cross the threshold from the primitive era, laying the groundwork for the age of civilization with cities, agriculture, crafts, and the very first social systems in history. What once seemed like a challenge turned out to be a hidden strength, pushing people further along the road of cooperation, creativity, and the conquest of the world around them. The Valley of the Golden Mummies. In 1996, a chance event completely transformed archaeologists' understanding of the Bahariya region, an oasis in the middle of Egypt's desert. It all began with the unexpected fall of a donkey on an old road, which led scientists to discover one of the largest and most unique cemeteries of the ancient world, later named the Valley of the Golden Mummies. Spanning an area of nearly 2 square miles, this cemetery is the resting place of hundreds of mummies dating back about 2,000 years, to the era when Egypt was under the control of the Roman Empire. What is especially striking about this site are the golden masks covering the faces of the mummies, making the entire cemetery shine with a splendor that is completely different from the usual image of mummies in most people's minds. Gold was not only a symbol of wealth and power, but also expressed the longing for immortality and the ancient Egyptians' belief in eternal life. The exquisitely crafted masks, combined with traditional decorations blending Egyptian art with Greek and Roman influences, tell a unique story of cultural fusion about a time when Bahariya was a flourishing center in this desert region. The mummies in the Valley of Gold were not only carefully preserved, but also adorned with garments, jewelry, bracelets, and accessories that clearly reflect the prosperity of the ancient community. Some mummies are completely covered with thin gold leaf, while others have only a golden mask on the face, but all express the deep respect that families and the community had for the departed. In addition, the presence of Roman decorative elements, such as patterned motifs, laurel wreaths, or classical Greek symbols, further highlights the power of cultural exchange during that period. The discovery of the Valley of the Golden Mummies has not only enriched the heritage of ancient Egypt, but has also opened a new window into the daily life, beliefs, and longing for immortality of people in the past. The story of the Golden Mummies in Bahariya reminds us that even in the arid desert, there were once prosperous lands where the glow of gold, the blending of cultures, and the belief in eternity created a vibrant chapter in human history. The hypothesis of a pre-Egyptian advanced technological civilization. One of the greatest mysteries of ancient Egypt lies not only in the towering pyramids or enigmatic statues, but also in a vast array of granite, basalt, and quartz artifacts, massive in scale, and so exquisitely crafted that even modern science is left in awe. Many of these stone blocks are cut with astonishing smoothness, some weighing dozens or even hundreds of tons, fitted together so precisely that not even a thin blade can be inserted between them. The near-perfect accuracy of these works far exceeds the capabilities of the copper or stone tools the pharaohs are believed to have used, raising the question of whether the ancient Egyptians were truly the first to build these structures. Some renowned researchers, including Brian Forrester and Christopher Dunn, have relentlessly pursued the theory that, before the pharaohs rose to power, Egypt was once the cradle of an exceptionally advanced civilization. They suggest that these advanced technologies are more than just legend. They may have existed in the distant past, leaving behind traces in the form of these mysterious relics. According to these researchers, it is difficult to imagine how the ancient Egyptians could have crafted gigantic granite boxes or drilled perfectly straight holes in hard stone with the tools of their era. The evidence supporting this hypothesis is not limited to the giant blocks and statues, but is also found in the traces of cutting, grinding, and drilling on stone surfaces. Many stone cores unearthed at major sites like Karnak, Luxor, or within the tombs of Saqqara bear marks of high-speed, precise drilling and cutting that even today's mechanical experts find astonishing. Some stone cores even show perfectly even spiral grooves, appearing as if they were made by modern machines, not by hand or with primitive tools. All of these details have ignited fierce debate over the possibility of a prehistoric civilization that far surpassed our current understanding. Though the theory remains controversial and final proof is still lacking, the true origin of Egypt's grand monuments remains one of archaeology's greatest challenges. At the same time, it continues to fuel the boundless imagination of humanity, beckoning us to consider an ancient past that we may have never truly known. The Cenote Angelita sinkhole, Mexico. Deep within the wild jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, hidden away from the world, lies a unique natural wonder that leaves all who visit utterly astonished. This is Cenote Angelita, a water-filled sinkhole plunging 200 meters into the earth, where the ground opens into a realm of mysterious and otherworldly beauty unlike anything ever seen. Unlike any river above ground, Cenote Angelita conceals an entirely unique underwater current, where a layer of fresh water floats gently above a denser layer of salt water below. Right at the boundary between these two layers, a thick band of hydrogen sulfide forms, hanging like a shroud of mist, creating a clear separation and producing an extraordinary illusion. A winding river flowing through the heart of the sinkhole, a river drifting silently amid an endless sea of water. Diving into Cenote Angelita, one feels transported to another world, where the light gradually fades and the entire space becomes enveloped in a ghostly mist. Ancient trees, submerged for countless ages, still rest intact, roots and branches interwoven like silent witnesses to history. In the lower, denser waters, dry branches coated in white haze create a mystical scene, as if stepping into a dreamscape beneath the ocean's surface. It is this combination of hydrogen sulfide mist and the remnants of drowned forests that has made Cenote Angelita one of the most spectacular and surreal dive sites on Earth. But Cenote Angelita is not only a natural marvel, it is also deeply imprinted with the legacy of the ancient Maya civilization. For the Maya, such deep sinkholes were portals between the human world and the spiritual realm, a place where sky, earth, and water all converged. Cenote Angelita was once a site of rituals and offerings to the gods, a place where secret ceremonies were performed, known only to the native people. As the light fades and the mist cloaks everything, one can easily sense the sacred and mysterious atmosphere lingering in every corner of the sinkhole's depths. To explore Cenote Angelita is not only to embark on a journey to a unique natural heritage, but also to return to the depths of the region's history and culture. Beneath the tranquil waters, where mist coils around sunken branches, each descent is a chance to encounter the pure, enigmatic beauty of nature and to hear the distant echoes of civilizations long vanished. Cenote Angelita, the hidden river within the water, is not only a sight of marvel, but a symbol of the eternal bond between humanity, nature, and history. The underwater city in India. Beneath the sea off the coast of India, archaeologists have uncovered a site filled with mysteries that could completely transform our understanding of human history. Here, hidden deep within the ocean, are large-scale geometric structures spread across a vast area, believed to be the remnants of an ancient city that existed around 9,500 years ago. If these assessments are ever confirmed, this city would predate any known archaeological site in India and would be far older than even the famous wonders of Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt. Underwater surveys have brought back a remarkable array of artifacts. There are sections of walls, house foundations, shards of pottery, and even fragments of human bone scattered among the ruins. Some architectural samples and tools suggest this was once a developed urban center, with a level of organization rivaling that of the great civilizations in human history. However, these groundbreaking discoveries have also stirred considerable debate among experts. The main reason is that excavation methods have been rather rudimentary, with most artifacts recovered through dredging the seabed, making it difficult to pinpoint their precise location or original cultural context. This has complicated efforts to verify the age and origins of the site, and many specialists believe that much more rigorous research will be needed before any final conclusions can be drawn. Even so, what has already emerged from this mysterious city continues to astonish the international archaeological community. For if this truly is a site from the end of the last ice age, it not only raises new questions about the dawn of early civilizations, but also suggests the possible existence of communities that developed far earlier than previously believed. The quest to unravel the secrets of the ancient underwater city in India is still ongoing, and it promises to bring even more remarkable surprises to humanity in the future. The ancient Roman ship off the coast of Croatia. Beneath the clear blue waters off the coast of Croatia, divers made a remarkable historical discovery: the wreck of a Roman ship that has rested for over 2 millennia on the floor of the Adriatic Sea. The discovery happened by chance when a group of local firefighters, during an exploratory dive, came across strange piles of materials lying quietly beneath the sand. Thanks to their knowledge of archaeology, they quickly realized these were not ordinary fragments, but the remains of an ancient vessel that once carried valuable cargo on long-ago sea journeys. Through careful study, scientists determined that the shipwreck is more than 2,000 years old and remains astonishingly well preserved. On the deck, roof tiles and ceramic jars, once used to transport food, olive oil, or wine, still rest safely within the hull, as if the ship had only recently left port. These artifacts not only reflect the shipbuilding and trade practices of the Roman era, but also stand as vivid witnesses to the vibrant commerce that once flourished on the Adriatic thousands of years ago. What makes this site particularly valuable is its extraordinary state of preservation. The structure of the hull retains many important details, and both the materials and the cargo have withstood the test of time. This presents a tremendous opportunity for archaeologists as well as history enthusiasts, as the site promises to become an appealing destination for underwater tourism. Here, visitors can experience not only an adventurous exploration, but also witness ancient traces firsthand and sense the majesty of merchant fleets that once crossed the open sea. The discovery of this ancient Roman shipwreck has not only enriched the underwater heritage of Croatia, but has also brought history closer to the modern generation. Every dive into the depths of the Adriatic becomes a journey back in time, where the story of the Roman ship and the mysteries still buried beneath the sands awaits to be uncovered and continued by those who come after. The ageless civilization on the west coast of North America. Right on the seemingly familiar lands of North America, scientists have uncovered a mysterious civilization dating back as far as 13,000 years. This discovery has shaken the field of archaeology, as it far surpasses what was previously known about the continent's history. For a long time, the Clovis people were considered the earliest inhabitants of North America, but new findings on the west coast have revealed that humans arrived much earlier than once believed. In fact, this civilization is even older than the most illustrious dynasties of ancient Egypt. Sites found on the Channel Islands of California and along the coast of British Columbia have revealed the traces of a society that depended on the sea for its survival. Archaeologists have unearthed a wealth of finely crafted stone tools, along with the remains of marine animals such as seals, birds, and fish. All of this evidence shows that this was once a center of advanced fishing and hunting activity. Researchers believe that the people of that time possessed extensive knowledge of the ocean and had developed a thriving coastal economy from a very early age. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is that most of the sites, villages, and traces of this ancient civilization have been submerged due to melting ice and rising sea levels after the Ice Age. Beneath the cold waters of the Pacific, scientists have found stone tools encrusted with barnacles and seashells at depths of nearly 50 meters off the coast of British Columbia. What remains on the Channel Islands is only a small part. Most of their past still lies buried beneath the sea. The existence of this civilization has completely changed how we view the history of human migration in the Americas. Instead of moving inland through icy corridors, it is now possible that the ancestors of Native Americans followed the Pacific coastline, traveling along the Kelp Highway, a rich marine route stretching from Asia all the way to North America. This theory gains further support as researchers have uncovered evidence of ancient seafaring groups who migrated across the Kuril Islands in the Russian Far East as far back as 25,000 years ago. Although most of the secrets of this ageless civilization still rest quietly beneath the ocean, what has already been discovered shows that people mastered the northern Pacific coast long before the Clovis ever arrived. This is one of the strangest chapters in the history of humankind on this continent, opening up new directions for research into the migration and adaptation of our ancestors. The Great Stone City of Great Zimbabwe. On the rolling hills of southeastern Zimbabwe, the ruins of Great Zimbabwe still stand tall amidst nature, posing an unanswered question about Africa's glorious past. For anyone who sets foot here, it's impossible not to notice the sturdy stone walls stacked without any binding material. These walls soar dozens of meters high, winding around large and small enclosures to create an impressive maze in the heart of the wild landscape. Behind the moss-covered stones and ancient masonry lies the story of a city that was once a symbol of prosperity, power, and ingenuity. During its golden age from the 13th to the 15th centuries, Great Zimbabwe was the largest economic center in southern Africa. Crowds moved through its gates, and caravans brought gold, ivory, and precious goods from as far as India and China. The city stood out with its massive stone fortifications, mysterious towers, and a complex of architectural feats that still astonish modern engineers with the building techniques of the past. Within the stone walls lay vast living spaces, sacred areas for worship, storage facilities, and structures believed to have been royal residences for kings and nobles. Although Great Zimbabwe thrived for centuries, it suddenly declined and was abandoned at the end of the 15th century. To this day, the reason for its fall remains a subject of debate among researchers. It may have been the result of climate change, prolonged famine, or the depletion of resources such as gold and arable land. Some theories suggest political instability or changes in international trade networks may also have contributed to the city's downfall. Yet, all these remain mere speculations based on the fragments that survive. Today, Great Zimbabwe endures as a proud symbol of African history. Each stone and every trace preserves secrets about the life, culture, and creativity of a civilization that reached great heights before fading into enigmatic obscurity. What remains is not just the ruins of a city, but a reminder of glorious chapters still untold in the history of humanity. Who knows? Hidden deep within those ancient grey stone walls, more secrets may still await, ready to reveal new chapters of Great Zimbabwe and the Golden Age of Africa. The mythical city of Iram of the Pillars. Amid the vast deserts of the Arabian Peninsula, the legend of the city known as Iram of the Pillars lingers like a mysterious veil shrouding the history of this land. The verses of the Quran once told of a magnificent city crowned with towering pillars, a place of prosperity beyond compare, built by ancient peoples in the endless expanse of golden sand. According to legend, Iram was not only renowned for its wealth and grand palaces, but was also said to be the capital of a mighty tribe called Ad, descendants of those who came soon after the time of Noah. Ancient stories describe Iram as a flourishing oasis in the heart of barren sands, a crossroads where caravans paused and gold, silk, and spices from all directions were gathered. The inhabitants constructed majestic buildings so imposing that they seemed to defy both time and the harsh forces of nature. But then, disaster struck. According to the Quran, a relentless wind swept through for 7 days and 7 nights, erasing the city and its people, leaving nothing behind but desert sands to bury all traces. Iram seemed to vanish without a trace, leaving behind questions that would remain unanswered for centuries. Because it is said to be buried deep beneath the sands, the true location of Iram remains an enigma to this day. Countless explorers, archaeologists, and scholars have crossed the desert in hopes of finding evidence of the legendary city. But Iram still remains hidden, like the shadow of Atlantis cast across the burning sea of sand. Each new search only adds to the layers of mystery enveloping this city, making Iram one of the true holy grails for those who hunt for lost treasures. Some believe that the tales of Iram are merely legends, woven from the faded memories of ancient tribes and reflecting a longing for a promised land in the midst of the desert's harshness. Others hold out hope that, somewhere beneath the deep sands, Iram still lies in slumber, waiting for the day it will be uncovered. The truth about this city is still unknown, and it is precisely this uncertainty that makes Iram of the Pillars all the more alluring, a symbol of endless mysteries that humanity forever yearns to solve. For many, Iram is more than just a name on a map. It is the dream of a lost civilization, a vision of wonders still waiting beneath the desert's surface. The debate over the race of ancient Egyptians. The question of the true racial origins of the ancient Egyptians has long sparked lively debate, not only among historians, but also across cultural and social forums worldwide. This issue goes far beyond national pride, touching on how we perceive one of humanity's most illustrious civilizations. In the search for answers, modern scientists have applied DNA decoding technology to the study of ancient bones and mummies, in hopes of unlocking the true origins of those who built the pyramids and left behind a legacy that has endured for millennia. Genetic analysis has opened up an entirely new perspective. The results show that ancient Egyptians were genetically closest to peoples living in the Near East, such as present-day Turkey, Israel, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. This finding matches Egypt's geography, a land that was once a crossroads and bustling hub for ancient civilizations to meet and trade. Thanks to DNA evidence, scientists have confirmed that the blood of the ancient Egyptians contains more elements from neighboring peoples than from sub-Saharan Africa. However, over many centuries, especially in the last 1,500 years, the modern Egyptian population has experienced further genetic blending with groups from Central Africa, mainly through trade, migration, and particularly the trans-Saharan slave trade. Even so, research still shows that the core genome of the Egyptian people has remained fairly stable, maintaining genetic continuity for over 1,000 years, despite waves of invasion and historic upheaval. A striking example of this blending is Cleopatra, the last queen of ancient Egypt. Though she remains a symbol of the power and allure of Nile civilization, Cleopatra herself was of Greek Macedonian descent, a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty founded by Alexander the Great. This only underscores how ancient Egypt was a land of cultural convergence, where bloodlines and identity were shaped by many layers of history. Today, thanks to advanced DNA decoding technology, the mystery of the race of the ancient Egyptians is gradually being clarified. These discoveries not only illuminate the origins of a civilization that once led the world, but also help to dispel long-standing prejudices, offering us a deeper understanding of the diversity, complexity, and rich identity of ancient humanity. Ancient humans and the early mastery of seafaring. On the sun-drenched, wind-swept island of Crete in Greece, an archaeological discovery has shaken the entire field of anthropology and rewritten everything once believed about our ancestors. Buried within layers of ancient earth are hand axes and hundreds of stone tools, each dating back as far as 130,000 years. What is even more astonishing is that Crete has been an isolated island in the Mediterranean for at least 5 million years, separated entirely from the mainland by deep and treacherous waters. There is simply no way to explain the presence of these tools without accepting that, from the distant past, humans were already building boats and crossing open seas. This discovery has forced every old theory about prehistoric migration to be reconsidered. These people were not merely bands of hunters and gatherers quietly trekking across ancient land bridges, they were also the world's first sailors, bold enough to face the vast ocean, traversing hundreds of kilometers of open water in search of new lands. The story of those primitive boats, imagined now only through scattered stones and faint traces, opens an entirely new chapter for human history. These early minds, who knew nothing of the wheel or of metal, used their creativity and courage to lash tree trunks into rafts and, perhaps, cover them with animal hides to catch the Mediterranean winds. That very first voyage may have carried prehistoric people from Africa across the sea, setting foot on Crete tens of thousands of years earlier than anyone had thought possible. This finding not only raises questions about how far human evolution had already progressed during the Stone Age, but also stirs bold speculation about a prehistoric civilization that once possessed extraordinary seafaring skills. Perhaps history has already witnessed a primitive society that traded and connected across the ocean, or even a forgotten global civilization whose legacy lingers in the form of these ancient tools left behind on Crete. From these seemingly small discoveries, the world is now forced to reconsider its view of our earliest ancestors. They are no longer just figures hiding in deep forests, but pioneers of the sea, people of extraordinary will, daring to set out on journeys with no clear destination, armed with nothing but their faith in new horizons. And so, human history turns a new page, where questions about our origins, abilities, and relentless dream of exploration become deeper and more profound than ever before. The mysterious dragon skeleton on Google Earth. The story of the mysterious dragon skeleton spotted on Google Earth has left many people stunned and curious, as satellite images captured a strange shape lying deep beneath the clear blue waters beside a small, unnamed island. According to the description from the person who discovered it, this structure is twice the size of the island itself, with a head that juts upward, featuring details reminiscent of dragon horns, a long winding neck, and prominent rib-like shapes stretching along the length of the body. The appearance of this so-called dragon skeleton quickly spread across online forums, sparking a wave of speculation and theory. Some believe it could be the fossil of an ancient, as yet unknown creature, while others draw connections between its bizarre form and legendary sea dragons from ancient mythology. Many, however, are convinced that it is simply a natural phenomenon, perhaps a stretch of underwater rock or a sandbar shaped by currents and geological forces, but, seen from above, it's easy to mistake it for the form of a gigantic skeleton. To this day, the mystery of the dragon skeleton beneath the sea remains without a convincing explanation. The satellite images only fuel human imagination further, giving rise to new debates between reality and legend. And perhaps it will continue to fascinate explorers and enthusiasts around the world who eagerly hope for a real investigation to uncover the truth behind that extraordinary image. The wooden Stonehenge in Denmark. In the peaceful countryside of Denmark, archaeologists accidentally uncovered a mystery that had been buried for 4,000 years. A massive wooden post circle erected by prehistoric people. This structure, often affectionately called the wooden Stonehenge, has not only stunned researchers, but also opened up an entirely new perspective on the connections between ancient European cultures. The circle consists of dozens of large wooden posts arranged in a regular pattern, surrounding a wide-open space with an entrance resembling the ceremonial halls of other famous megalithic complexes. Although built of wood, the impressive scale and meticulous structure of this monument strongly recall Stonehenge in England, the mysterious symbol of ancient Western civilization. This discovery raises a major question. Could the prehistoric communities in Denmark have shared ideas or even had connections with those who built Stonehenge on the misty British Isles? Beneath the surface of that seemingly quiet, rural land, archaeologists also discovered traces of a large Bronze Age settlement, including the burial of a chieftain, bronze artifacts, and a series of relics that demonstrate the life, beliefs, and complex rituals of the indigenous people. These findings further support the theory of the existence of a network of ceremonial and cultural centers stretching across Europe, far larger than previously imagined. Each wooden post erected here carries the hopes and beliefs of ancient people, perhaps to worship the sun, conduct harvest ceremonies, or serve as gathering places for communities to mark important events throughout the year. Although the true meaning of Denmark's wooden Stonehenge remains shrouded in the mists of time, this structure is still vivid proof of the intelligence, organizational skill, and rich spiritual life of our ancestors. The appearance of large-scale ceremonial monuments not only in England but also in Denmark and many other places has prompted scientists to reconsider the prehistory of Europe. It is possible that thousands of years ago, a vast civilization with many ceremonial centers once existed, leaving mysterious marks all across the old continent. Each new discovery, like the wooden Stonehenge, is not just an archaeological site, but also a reminder that the stories of humanity's origins and connections still hold many secrets waiting to be unraveled. Unknown human species in the history of evolution. Deep beneath layers of ancient limestone in South Africa, a place known as the cradle of humankind, archaeologists have continually expanded our picture of human evolutionary origins. Here, each excavation has the power to change how we view our own past. In recent years, a series of fossil discoveries has left the scientific community astonished. Researchers found traces of Australopithecus sediba, an ancient human species that existed millions of years ago, and especially Homo naledi, an early human branch with particularly strange and novel characteristics. Previously, it was widely believed that intelligence and creativity only appeared in human species with large brains. But the discovery of Homo naledi has called that notion into question. This human species possessed a brain only the size of a grapefruit, much smaller than that of any modern human. Yet the wonder lies in the evidence that they knew how to bury their dead, organize rituals, and perhaps even paint on cave walls or use fire to light up the darkness. These complex behaviors show that even with a small brain, Homo naledi developed spiritual life, a sense of community, and an ability to think far beyond what modern people once imagined about their ancestors. These discoveries have not only added new links to the evolutionary tree of humanity, but also raised a series of major questions about our history. How many other ancient human species once existed that we still do not know about? Are there branches of evolution that have vanished without ever being touched by science? Looking back at the development of humankind that has stretched on for millions of years, we suddenly realize that brain size has never been the only factor that determines behavior, intelligence, or creativity. The story of Homo naledi and the newly found fossils in South Africa do not merely enrich human knowledge, they also serve as a reminder that the quest to uncover our origins still holds countless deep mysteries waiting to be revealed. If you found these mysterious stories fascinating, feel free to leave your thoughts down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on our next discoveries. See you in the next video.